Fladgate Sofa to Sofa. I'm Jenny Sargeant, I'm a partner in our real estate team. On the sofa, we've been looking at various emerging lockdown trends, but as we approach the autumn, we just want to pause and assess, are businesses doing everything that they possibly can to build resilience going forward, and how can they future-proof themselves? So I'm joined by Anthony Shatz, who is a corporate and funds partner at Fladgate and has been heading up our Helping Clients initiative. Welcome to the sofa, Anthony.
Hi Jenny, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. So what are your thoughts on, where do you think most businesses find themselves now as we come into the autumn?
Well, I think it's clear that we're through the first phase of the pandemic. Although what is less clear is what now presents itself in terms of the next few months. And I think it's very much a mixed picture for businesses. And to a large extent, I think it really depends on what sector a business is operating in. Because clearly there have been some winners and many losers. And so sectorally, tech and pharma and a few others are doing very well. But obviously leisure, hospitality, retail and aerospace are all finding it much more of a struggle. So it's a very mixed picture and still, I think, quite uncertain in terms of what the future brings.
And have we got any practical tips that we can help our clients with in terms of just insulating themselves in this new normal?
Yeah, so we at Fladgate have been giving some thought to all of this. And in fact, we've prepared a post-COVID legal options review flowchart, which is available on request. And what that tries to do is just to break down analytically all of the different areas that a business should be considering in order to ensure that it is as match fit as it possibly can be and ready for anything that's thrown at it over the next period. Because it's clear that when the pandemic hit, most businesses weren't really prepared for an event of such scale. And so I think now, as we move out of the first phase of this pandemic, there's a good opportunity for businesses to look holistically at all aspects of their business and work out how they can best position themselves going forward.
So we have this holistic flow chart for businesses. What's the key message coming out of that for our clients?
Yeah, sure. So I think the key message is really around liquidity. And clearly businesses of all shapes and sizes have been working incredibly hard over the last 4 or 5 months to preserve and enhance liquidity. But of course, that's an ongoing process. It's work in progress. And from a legal perspective, I think it's important for companies to think about, from a debt perspective, whether there is an opportunity to renegotiate facility agreements so that the covenants are more borrower friendly or the margins are lower. And from an equity perspective, I think that there is a case for taking a step back and thinking about whether there are sufficient commitments from shareholders going forward, or whether new equity commitments need to be raised. And as a link point, whether a company needs to look at its shareholder base and perhaps think about bringing in new long-term strategic partners as shareholders. So I think there's a point around whether companies should be looking to somehow reformulate shareholders going forward.
So we're clearly going to be in a market where cash is going to be king for a while yet. But what are the other strategic decisions that businesses can be making now to help them build that resilience?
Well, I think that there are some key areas that all businesses need to think hard about. The first I'd mention is insurance. It's clear that many businesses were called out in the pandemic and didn't have sufficient or adequate insurance coverage. So I think that there's an analysis to be gone through to look at insurance policies, exemptions from those policies, and whether the coverage is sufficient for that business. In terms of employees, I think that there's a good moment now to look at employment contracts to work out whether the terms are as employer friendly as they could be, if I can use that term. I think in terms of key agreements with customers and suppliers, can those terms be amended over time so that they are as preferential for the business as possible in terms of payment terms, for instance. And then I think I just mentioned 2 other areas which perhaps are sort of a bit more strategic. Should a company be looking at disposing of underperforming business units? And conversely, is there an opportunity now for a company to look at diversifying into more profitable business lines, either through M&A or through acquisitions of new teams?
So, as concluding remarks, why is it that we're saying to our clients it's a great time to carry out this holistic review now?
Well, I think it's clear that it's been an enormously challenging time over the last 4 or 5 months for businesses. And as we enter the autumn, I think now is a good opportunity for a company to take stock, look at all aspects of its business and work out how it can be optimized from a commercial and legal standpoint. And I think that it's very clear that black swan events aren't necessarily as infrequent as we would like them to be. You had the great financial crash, then Brexit, now COVID, and that's just to name a few. And none of us really knows what's around the corner. So I really think it's incumbent on businesses of all shapes and sizes to think about how they can position themselves as optimally as possible for the benefit of the shareholders, the employees, and other stakeholders in that business.
So really what we're saying is, as we approach to back to school time, it's a great chance to just press that pause button, carry out a strategic review internally and with your advisors, and think not just of the issues that are going to be coming at us in the next few months, but also about the challenges and building in that business resilience for the longer term, because the most successful businesses that come out of 2020 will be those that have managed to build that sustainable business resilience.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Anthony. That's great to have you here with those thoughts. And just a reminder to clients, this is a great time to check in, look at our flowchart and see how we can help them with that strategic planning. Thank you so much for joining us on the sofa.
Great to be with you. Thanks.